really just highlighting, you know, how much we trust each other. We failed the fall thing. I've never actually done that with an yeah.
Really? I mean, I was just going to say, I can come around to your green screen and we can try it out. It will have a very similar result.
What, were you dropping me? Wait, what? Anyway, getting on with the game. Yeah, we'll leave it for later. The Toronto Defiant versus the Washington Justice. I do think this is going to go the distance. I think you can probably tell as well from the desk, from you, Josh, as well. Like, the people at home can probably get a feeling for where we're at when it comes to this match here between these two teams. There's a lot of spicy trash talk, a lot of you know, just a lot of back and forth between these two teams. Clearly, they're quite comfortable with each other in terms of like scrimming against one another, and to the level of which they would, you know, have a bit of banter being tossed backwards and forwards. But yeah, we've definitely seen, to talk about the Overwatch here, glaring weaknesses with both of these squads. I'm not gonna brush past this point from both of these squads. The Washington Justice in particular, sometimes you're watching them and they just have an inability to attack. It is sometimes infuriating. But yeah, at the end of the day, this is a match that I think both these teams are actively trying to win for sure, considering how close the Toronto Defiants are to the play-ins, that kind of line where they need to win these matches to get the wins.
Absolutely. I mean, if you take a look at both of the squads as well, we can see that Neist is in instead of Aspire, and Jerry is not in. So the trash talk getting shot at both of the sub-DPS players ends up paying off especially well for the Toronto Defiant at the beginning of that. I believe they called Mag a 5-star Michelin restaurant as well, indicating his ability to feed the masses. But he is actually one of our safest main tank players that we have in the entire league. This entirety of the Washington squad is risk averse to the max. They're investing in hedge funds the entire way. There's no kind of day trading going on over there.
Yeah, purely safe, nothing out of the ordinary for both of these teams. Yeah.
Even that would be too much risk, I think, for the Washington Justice. They just slit open their mattress and they're stuffing cash inside of it.
Yeah, just letting it decay from interest.
Exactly. No opportunity to make it work for you. I think this is going to be a really fun game, though. I seriously do. I mean, we saw the Toronto Defiant recently. I'm going to use Mitch and Matt's words. Escape from a series against the London Spitfire recently. That was just yesterday, getting the win over London. But it felt like, to Mitch and Matt casting the game, like Toronto escaped with a 3-1 win. And in that series, there were so many terrible EMPs. Like, the follow-up was atrocious. And now you've got two people who are really respected for their Sombra play, or at least have been across their careers, Hisu and Assassin. And yet, recently, they've both been on a bit of a downwards trend. So I'm interested to see whether one of these two people can really pick it up. Which of these Sombra players is going to be the one that changes their style, adds a bit of aggression, gets more value over EMPs. Any kind of improvement across the board is going to make a clear Sombra difference, I think, because both of these guys' form recently has been poor.
We shall see as the game gets underway here between these two teams. I want to see some cool things, honestly, from the Washington Justice in particular, as well as the team, because I say it every time I commentate them, Josh. They're a team that we thought had so much potential coming into this. They haven't quite lived up to it, and they're not doing awfully. Both of these teams are not doing awfully. Look at the standings at the top: 7-6, 8-6. But dangerously close, honestly, to that cutoff of the play-ins as well. Both of these teams want to be winning this series cleanly as well. You never know how that map differential is going to be playing a part in it. The Toronto Defiant are going to be coming out the gates with a pretty standard composition. See, it's going to be the Tracer Sombra with the Wrecking Ball as well, looking for opportunities around the map to try and set up and engage onto one of these targets.
And here, the Washington Justice is going to be forced to take the point at some point here. And the Toronto Defiant have spread out all around them. They've isolated Decay a little bit. Good flashbang, though, to push away Sado. And this is two teams that want to be the reactive peelers.
They're just going to stare at each other from across the points, but finally Sado goes down. Nice as well. That's the Toronto Defiant. Really losing a lot of players here, almost getting that cap as well. But finally, that gives Washington Justice the confidence they need to start pushing across the point. They need a couple more stagger kills, but they're just biding their time, waiting for them to get back into the action here. They have got the point under their control.
Hisu very close to that EMP. Extremely early EMP.
There we go.
There we go. Catches 5 people.
Yeah, and that EMP engage as well. Just not really any pressure coming out from the Washington Justice to try and force out the ultimates, take a better team fight earlier on. just perfectly happy to let the Toronto Defiant set up in whatever way they wanted.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a nice little flip over there of the point.
Okay, so Hisu starts it out pretty well against his counterpart. Assassin not playing Sombra here, obviously, but I'm sure he will at some point during the series. Both of those two former teammates on contenders in Team Runaway as well. And Hisu starting off with a bit of an advantage. Nice as well, looking for a pulse bomb here. If he can find a pick, that could definitely reset the Justice. But both of these teams are playing pretty slowly at the moment, allowing the others to get into position.
Pulse bomb against the wall. That's going to be the Transcendence used here. Rally from closer as well, but the damage is done. Decay's just in the backline trying to deal with Nice, but already his team losing a team fight in the process there. With the ultimates committed there from the Toronto Defiant, it's a hard task to take it away from them. Still, Nice ends up going down there. A bit of a staggered out, stalled out kill. Not ideal for the Toronto Defiant, but luckily on the Tracer, Nice is going to be able to get back into the action pretty quickly.
Defiant did aggressively transcend there. That was an aggressive play from the Defiant as they pushed in, using their double support ultimate. Now they're relying on Hisu to get close to EMP. The Justice have just never been in a position where they can get success, and losing their... Oh, the Shadow could turn things, Brent.
Oh, the Shadow's there, but not enough damage to try and collect the kill. Nice allowed to get the recall off. The damage is there. The EMP not really setting things up dramatically.
But they lost Bebe so early on.
Washington Justice, yeah, and losing Bebe is not ideal. Still now they're going to look to try and re-push into this one, but slow and steady, trying to win the race here for the Washington Justice. Now the ultimate comes down, the Amp Matrix into the back. It's going to give them a bit of damage. Obviously the Toronto Defiant willing to respect this one, just hopping in and out of the point. Keeping this one going. Nice has the pulse bomb. Looks like he's going to find his target right there. That's Mag gone down. Decay going to be channeling up that Deadeye, not going to be finding any pickoffs with it, and now the Transcendence to supplement it. A bit of healing now for the Toronto Defiant to play aggressively, right up close with them. Discord Orbs being applied, excellent play from them, closer with the rally, but it's too late, I think. Too many targets gone down, not going to be able to get anything done with that, and that is the round for the Toronto Defiant.
And that's one of those rounds, honestly, Bren, where... first of all, let me give credit to the Toronto Defiant. They played that positionally pretty nicely. They allowed the Justice to walk in with their Rhine comps to a position where they could surround them and collapse on them. And they did so multiple times. They had two good EMP engages, they had that fight where they popped double support ult and basically just ran at the Justice. So the Defiant, at the moment, being the tempo setters. As for the Justice, though, they were essentially AFK in a lot of those fights. They just walked in with a Rhine and hoped that Decay hit headshots. That's not a game plan. And so the strategy has got to shift for the Justice. Second round, they're going to put Mag onto the ball, Assassin on Farah. So they have a lot of poke here, which is going to set them up for win conditions, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, jumping on it seems to be the major problem right now, and it has been for quite some time. And we'll see though. Still no Sombra in play there for the Justice. Hunting with his rockets, you can see them like little ants just scattered across the point. Hisu, okay, just trying to build up the EMP. He's going to translocate away as he's booped off the edge.
And here you want to see Assassin damage, Mag and Decay follow up on it. Normally Mag and Decay's coordination has not been phenomenal. Decay being a bit more of an individualist. But that's great coordination between Assassin and Mag.
The backline there just, I mean, taking too much unnecessary damage there from the rockets. Assassin gets away with a freebie, honestly. Single-handedly took out the support line. No one really came to peel, and it's going to be the early point goes over there to the Washington Justice.
Yep. Yeah, nice play. I mean, good rockets. They have nothing with which to pressure Assassin at all. And so, if you're the Defiant, you need to up the tempo. You need to be able to get onto Bebe. This is a very similar scenario we saw at the end of the previous match as well, with the Atlanta Ravens playing against the Florida Mayhem. And it's about getting Nice and Hisu in a position where they can do damage, where they can find Decay and isolate him, hack him, take him out, kill Bebe, who is currently under that and good pressure.
Yeah, the power drive really did set that one up. Nice work there from the Toronto Defiant, still with the pulse bomb in hand. Nice hunting for it, but as this is all going down, again, the back line ends up falling. Gonna need to see some heroics here from the Toronto Defiant if they want any shot of turning this one now. Nice little hack onto Mag, but he's able to get the adaptive shields and roll out of there to the heels. Safety of his team, pulse bomb off onto the side. It's a bit of a whiff from them. In fact, Nice is going to be slept up there. Bebe just escaping. And the damage definitely being done as this is a really stalled out, long team fight between both these teams.
Hisu only just now getting the first EMP as well. As Toronto are going to start to have the Transcendence, which can keep the backline intact against pressure from Assassin. They have offensive and defensive tools. Again, looking like Bebe's the threat. There's the nano boost that goes on to Assassin, though, before the engage.
Yeah, Power Driver, though, will take out Bebe. More heals for them. Pulse Bomb from Decay as a response. That's Anson J taken out. Again, putting in the damage. Michelle not going to be in the mech. With the mine scattered across the point, they really don't have a shot of it. Mag just rolling through them. Power Driver engage as well, just to take out Michelle. The way this team fight goes as well, it's going to be about 90% in counting. Toronto Defiant with no ultimates to work with. Not really a shot to really take the team fight either.
No, they simply haven't found any opportunities in this round. It's been a complete opposite result compared to the control center. I don't even know what they can do here. They could push back in with a rally and a Diva Bomb, sure, but the Washington Justice are just going to back off, wait for Assassin to do enough onto the backline, and then come back in.
And that's a good approach. There we go. Power Driver into the back. It forces out the armor packs.
Good kill.
Damage there. Decay goes down. Yeah, Bebe as well falling. This is quite nice for the Toronto Defiant with the rally as well to keep them all alive. Don't need to worry about Assassin as much. He's being marked up and pushing them away, eventually taking the point just in time for them. Now it's the uphill battle of trying to take away this round from them.
Be right back.
Yeah, both teams so far have really struggled recontesting the objectives. Both teams, generally speaking, over the course of this season have looked fine on defense. Here we go, nice, with an opportunity for one. Bebe isn't even there. All right, good work from Fury. Scouts that corner, keeping an oblivious Bebe safe.
They're just waiting it out. You can see the battle that's taking place in the backline between the Tracers. Jumping down onto Mag. That's a wonderful hack. And you can see that's Mag just trying to set up some plays for the rest of his team, trying to get into position to set up the Power Drivers. Take him out, it really does just stall things up here for Justice. They rely on Mag's initiations often. We're seeing an active play here. The Toronto Defiant actually want to use that EMP, and Assassin brought straight to his knees. Taken out in the end. Nano boost onto Decay. Not good enough to keep him alive in the middle of that one. In fact, Michelle was right on top of him as well, eating up the pulse bomb.
It forced the trance! Lastro used Transcendence against that, which I think is quite outrageous that you managed to force that. I mean, there was no world in which the Defiant were losing that team fight, even if Decay was able to pick your Zen. So that is value from Bebe and Decay. Throwing the nano in there and trading it for trance is good. As long as they can scout nice, they have an opportunity to come back in, maybe get some value out of a barrage.
He didn't even realize he was on the left-hand approach there, but look at that self-destruct into the back. That's a support line gone, taken out. Assassin with the barrage, but he taking a little bit too much damage from that as well, as Michelle is right on top of it. What a play, what a setup there. Michelle turning it around, and now, Josh, the ugly reality rears its head as well of these teams, the inability to attack and approach onto these points. What was looking like an uphill battle, it's looking like a walk in a park now that the Washington Justice are forced to try and make the first move. They're going to get the overtime going over the top. Pulse bomb in hand, Nice can at least hunt for a target. They're just trying to bait it out. Power Driver as well is going to connect onto a few of them right into the back, into the corner. There's the Pulse Bomb against the wall. Bebe with nowhere to run. Taken out. The hack as well, so that's no res coming out from closer. Self-destruct into the back with the rally and the Harmony Orb. Anson J, an absolute raid boss, just clearing them all off. With Mag going down, no one can initiate this one. It's a slow siege attempt, but eventually the Toronto Defiant are the ones wrangling control away, and that is going to be the map going their direction. You can see them, just a couple of smirks, a couple of smiles from the players as well, as they're like, okay, yeah, well, that was actually not too bad.
Yeah, far too easy for the Defiant there in that second round. Brent, there was only a single team fight won by a team that was attacking the objective. Every other team fight was won by the
tale of this series continues.
I really feel like that's going to be the case in a lot of these maps. Both teams have only looked competent when they've been playing on defense throughout the majority of this season. So the first team to crack how to break the opponent's defense is going to come away with the win. And thus far, with one team fight, it is the Defiant.
Yeah, you've heard of the tortoise, and the hare. I mean, I butchered it now. Let's just go to the break. I don't even want to talk anymore.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. And yeah, I've been advised to steer clear away from analogies from now on as well.
Aesop's Fables, not your biggest fan?
No, not really. Yeah, not really. Anyway, heading into the series, one map currently leading here for the Toronto Defiant. The Justice, without really much of an approach when it comes to their attacking side, but that's honestly been the case for both of these teams. It's a narrative, I guess, that we're running with here. In terms of subs, Aspire is going to be in here for Nice as well. It's going to be seeing a bit of playtime now, and the next map is going to need some sort of inspiring play, I suppose, coming out from the guy. He's definitely been one to set up a lot of the stuff for the rest of the team. Tuba in for closer as well. This is a classic move that the Justice have been toying with. And Havana being the map that we're moving over to.
Yeah, the Tuba substitution, they've been trying to turn him into a Brig main for the Justice, and it's been somewhat successful. I think it's not quite there when you consider like Skewed coming in for the Gladiators, for example, but they've been getting some decent results out of him. I think, though, that generally speaking, these substitutions are not going to make the largest difference in the world. I think what's important is considering the team's ability to coordinate their offenses. I think that's going to be the continued move throughout this match. And I think it's going to be close. Both teams, I think, look pretty competent on defense where they don't have to set the tempo, they can just react. And it's about getting the initiation solved. Toronto had some good instances when we saw them play on Lijiang there. Some good moments where they were the ones initiating. But they have also struggled with that this season. This is also a huge game for Toronto Defiant to win. They are 7-6 right now, and they are the underdog in every game that they play for the rest of the season. They have 3 matches left, including this one, against the Justice, Paris, and Shock. They're the underdogs in each one of those. And so to get a win here over a struggling Justice would be huge for their seeding when it comes to play-ins, and it would essentially put them out of the grasp of the Florida Mayhem, who are desperately trying to get their head above water.
It would be massive. Already leading a map, which means, you know, we've got a lot to look forward to as we're heading into Havana. On the attacking side here for the Toronto Defiant, they're the ones who get to set the pace of the game. It's not going to be any forward approach, forward hold that we've been seeing from some of these teams on Havana. Just holding back at the corner. It really wouldn't, yeah. Instead they're going to be playing a bit more of a poke-orientated composition. Assassin going to be layering in the arrows from afar. He has been scattered out.
I think this is a good strategy from Defiant because they force the Justice to attack them. Even though the Defiant are on offense here, they're just going to turtle around the payload with their Orisa shield. And it's on the Justice to spread out, get good angles to collapse from, and then engage with Assassin poking from an off angle and then Mag and Decay eventually initiating. Someone at some point has to fight the objective. They can't just let this cart be pushed all the way in without contestation.
Storm Arrows, nice power driver to come in. Not really synced up with too much, but Hisu goes down. That is good for the Justice here. Decay as well. No one's really keeping him in check. He's just still trying to get the damage done. The Holt pulling him forward. Sado with the Harmony Orb is going to be keeping him alive. The Fortify, he just needs to back off into the enclosed area, but he has given Decay the Pulse Bomb. Farmed up off the back of that damage onto the tank line.
It was a good engage, honestly. That was a good play from the Justice. They had their long-range damage of Assassin and Bebe set up on complementing off angles. Mag and Decay went in. They take out Hisu. That's right into the middle of everybody. Great work from Decay.
Yeah. That's going to get one at the end of the day. There's not really much choice in the matter of that. And it is Decay who's just being given time to farm up the ultimates, really make those plays happen off the back of a lot of those power drive initiations. Good stuff from the Justice on the defense. Now we see some swaps being made on the Toronto side as Sado is going to go over to the Wrecking Ball.
And Aspire over to Tracer as well. So the Defiant now have opportunities to get into the backline. Assassin is a key target here. Obviously Mag, if he gets hacked, is also huge. That's a fantastic pick. Aspire barely done any damage in the team fight before he got taken down. And it's very difficult for Aspire to actually put pressure on Assassin up there. If Assassin continues to play from that high ground... Wait a
second.
He must have thought Hisu had ult. He must have thought Hisu had EMP.
But they're not even in position to jump on them.
I don't know, Brent. I simply don't know.
They know that they're not set up to engage. I mean, that's just perplexing.
Absolutely
that's perplexing
shooketh right now.
That is perplexing. There's no other word to describe it. Okay, well, Dragon Strike comes through. That's a Transcendence to try and keep the team alive, but Bebe is taken out. No Transcendence to save him there. Obviously, now the mine's coming down. It's going to be Mag trying to turn things around for them. Self-destruct over the top as well. That's Lastro against that rock in a hard place. Unable to work his way out of it. Still, with Mag going down, it's an opportunity for them. They just need to try and collect it onto another target. It's a slow approach, and Decay with the post bomb. Oh my goodness, Anson J just pops the rally, but Decay's like, nope, see you later. Completely take out that ultimate with a great stick as well.
I don't know whether the stats back this up, Brent, but when I think of Sombras that hold onto their EMP forever and ever to the detriment of their team, recently my mind goes to Hisu and Assassin. And I'm wondering when Defiant are going to choose to pop this EMP. Surely with 30 seconds on the clock, they have to set up for an EMP engage now, right? They know that Bebe doesn't have trance. The backline dive here is just begging to happen.
Here we go. He's going to go for the solo kill. He's going to be rewarded with it. There's no need for the setup as they push forwards. It's a great kill. Can they get it into anything else? The hack as well onto Mag. It's taking a lot of pressure away for the team to just try and work their way in here. Mag is going to be taken out. Just trying to contest up the point now. Fury, the Soul Tank left. Defect in the end as Aspire is given free reign in the back line. Nicely done. Just in the nick of time as well there for the Toronto Defiant. 2.5 minutes is what they'll be working with now, pushing into checkpoint B.
And Hisu gained 53% of his next EMP. That's been so crucial. And now we get to see the Sombra battle that I am very interested in. Like I said, former runaway teammates playing against each other here, Hisu and Assassin. Neither player has been in good form recently, but if you consider their historic capabilities on Sombra, both are well respected. They've been good. They've been great at times on this pick. And yet recently in this meta, neither of them have got the greatest grasp of it. So I'm waiting to see a recurrence back to form.
Nasty by Decay. Postform's going to get 8 though. A little bit too obvious from both of the team players, honestly. Yeah, Fury and Michelle both just going to be completely taken out as ults. So the Transcendence used by both these teams. Self-destruct right down into the tunnel. It's perfectly placed. Michelle is having a game today. Lovely work, honestly, with the self-destruct plays as well, forcing the positioning perfectly, setting their team up for success.
And these pushes from the Defiant have been good. They are finding opportunities. They're being a lot more aggressive with Aspire and Sado working together. If they can get another big EMP, this push has gone phenomenally well for the Toronto Defiant, especially considering what we were expecting of this game, which was a lot of first point holds.
Hisu has the EMP. They know they're just trying to pre-fire around the corners. They can expect that this EMP is going their way. Oh, the volley around the corner as well. He's just trying to bide his time and wait it out, but it might be a little bit too late. Aspire's already gone down. Surely not. No, oh my goodness. Wait, the shield bash. Must have heard the decloak or something there to give that away.
I think that was just predictive. We've seen a lot of Brigs start doing this stuff, where they whip shot doorways and shield bash randomly, just looking for the identification of those players. And that's another team fight where Hisu just feels like he has to hold his EMP. And here's the thing, not all of it is Hisu's fault. When you find these situations and you look through Hisu's eyes, okay, it looks really dangerous to go for your EMP in those kind of situations. You're wondering if it's going to get cancelled by the Brig, or if Bebe is just going to right-click you, whatever. But the point is that Defiant and a lot of these other teams like the Justice struggle to be able to set up their Sombra for those EMPs. You need to distract the backline to allow your Sombra to get off the big EMP sometimes. And that kind of coordination is sometimes absent.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and Hisu's just been found out. 10 seconds remaining. They're waiting for the EMP engage, but no one's in position. Sado goes down. Assassin! Assassin! Someone call ESIC! Someone call the Esports Commission! Integrity Commission! Get them online! What is that?
Call the FBI!
What is going on? What is happening? Pause. Okay. Maybe that's going to explain it.
No, it's not going to explain it, Brent. That's the other team. That's the other team. Oh,
maybe they're just as confused as us.
I mean, Brent, just for anyone, for any viewer that's confused at home, because I am also confused. Brent, we were watching Hisu build that EMP slowly, over time, pressure the backline. In the meantime, by the way, Assassin built up his whole other EMP for himself. And so, while that was all going on, we are talking about Hisu finding the win condition, and Assassin just randomly fat fingers, as far as I can tell. Was he fighting a Tracer that wasn't on screen who recalled out of
I don't know.
line of sight? I don't believe so. I mean, I'd love to see a replay of that if we have any opportunity to while the pause is going on, because that was madness. Now, in the meantime, while we were losing our minds over that, the Toronto Defiant have also used their EMP. Didn't really see how much value that got, but they certainly didn't win the team fight off the back of it. What is going on with the Sombras recently? What is happening?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the stats are going to paint a certain picture here. You can see Hisu with the low deaths, obviously, from the back of
1.7 deaths. That is very low.
Yeah, that is low indeed. I mean, it's from him playing quite, passive at the end of the day. I think maybe the EMP was trying to catch onto Sado, but the angle was so narrow, it was at the doorway, that it wasn't really available. I think we're trying to get a replay for it.
Let's take a look at the replay.
Here it is.
Then.
So he gets the neutral hack onto Sado. They kill Sado. It's Aspire, yeah.
It's trying to catch the Tracer, and Aspire just blinks away and destroys him. Wow. Absolutely outplayed there. And it wasn't like Assassin completely beefed that either, right? Like, the default hack onto Sado is good to be able to secure the kill onto the main tank. And then trying to be very opportunistic. Listen, I can't hate it looking at the replay. He goes for the big play. That would have been a nail in the coffin. That would have been the final nail in the coffin, probably, for Toronto Defiant's push.
Yeah.
Now, any news about the Hisu EMP? I mean, I'm sure that one happened on screen. It was just that I was losing my mind about the Assassin one, so I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, I just saw red.
I will say that,
I just saw red.
As a theme throughout the recent series and in the Toronto game, there was a lot of wild EMPing going on. This was why I was so excited for this Sombra 1v1.
Yeah, we're going to go to a short break as this pause gets sorted out as well. It seems like there's a bit of a hardware failure on someone's end. So we'll see you in just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen, with the conclusion of this game. Or not necessarily the conclusion, but definitely the conclusion of the map at some point. I hope they might just stare at each other. Welcome back from the break, everybody. Yeah, we'll be getting back into that map shortly as well. I believe it was like a hardware issue with one of the monitors as well, so definitely needed to get that swapped out as well. And it seems like they are ready to get back into the game any moment now. In the middle of a team fight, an overtime push as well from the Toronto Defiant to give you the context of this one. And we're heading straight back into it. The Spire just into the backline here as well. It seems like the teams are quite split up right now, just trying to push them away. Power Drive is going to connect onto Bebe, but they need to keep the overtime going for this one. Trying to combo something up here. Michelle with the self-destruct, but the momentum's been taken all the way out of it. Clears away the mines, has the recall, comes back down again. Now is Fury going to be removed. Transcendence across the point just to give them a bit of heals, but Bebe getting chunked down, 1 health, and a Dream just trying to survive their way through all of this, but Aspire will hunt them down in the end. Transcendence healing available now. And the mines, Toronto definitely finding a foothold into this fight, despite the fact that they've lost a lot of their players. But as I say, that Lastro taken out away from the backline. A nice little power drive engaged with the self-destruct to clear it away. There's only one player that's going to be able to touch, and that's Aspire. Aspire gone. That's going to be the holds, just shy of the end of checkpoint B.
Really nice counter initiation from Mag. As soon as Lastro's Transcendence failed, or faded rather, they just collapsed back on top of the Zen in the backline. At the same time, though, I really don't know what to think of this map so far. I'm not even talking about the quality of play that we're witnessing. I'm talking about the win conditions for both teams, because considering how slanted towards defense both of these teams are, that could be a very good push from the Defiant. Against a lot of teams, it would not be, but here and now, they could absolutely win against what the Justice have on their attack. So this is absolutely still anyone's game.
I mean, that could convert into at least 4 team fights, you know. That might be enough for them.
Yeah, could be way more than that. I want to take a moment to just talk about the Justice a little bit, because I know that this has been a recurring theme throughout the season. Oh, hello. This is taking a look at Decay on Tracer, who has been spectacular. He's been a great piece. But there are great pieces littered across this Justice roster. And you've got players like the best main tank coming out of contenders this season, Mag. You've got Fury, All-Star, off-tank. And this team is 0-7 now in maps for the Countdown Cup. Yeah, they faced Houston and Gladiators, but the problem is they've won 0 of those maps and they looked terrible. So we're really looking for an increasing quality from the Justice. It's not necessarily even translating that into wins, but it just seems to take them a while to heat up in all of these tournaments. And I'm not sure they're there yet.
Near the end. It's always near the end, honestly. It's
Are we not near the end? We're near the end of the bloomin' season. Come on, man! You've had enough time!
Yeah, certainly. They have. But a Justice on the attack, they're going to be given a lot of free push through here. You can see Mag's just trying to take the high ground there at the top right. Spire laying in these arrows. Long distance artillery just being rained down upon them.
And when you look at the Justice's comp, they're really relying on picks from Assassin, or at least poke damage that Decay can finish off.
It's a nice hold, but nothing to really combo it with, but that's Aspire. Storm arrows, headshots into Bebe. A bit of care needs to be had there from the backline, as they are taking a little bit too much, but they hopefully are looking to try and convert this now into something to try and hold them just short of the objective. One pick was good for them. Looking for a bit more still. Hisa goes down to the whip shot. Can they try and punish Assassin? Yes. Taken out in the end, but Lastro goes down from just some stray fire of Fury, who's just not really even in the fight, just in the maybe form.
Yeah, he just finished off some damage that came out from Decay. Decay's Pulse Bomb could finish this team fight as well. Hisu has not been able to get up to a good EMP charge. That's fantastic from Michelle.
Yeah, the presence of mind from Michelle has been excellent over the course of this series. Still got to do a little bit more, though. Dragon Strike's going to cut them across. They back off around the corner. Keep Michelle up, please. The challenge, it almost seems impossible for them, but eventually going to be demeched away, pushed around the corner. The rally is good to try and keep them up, but Michelle, out of the mech, they don't have a tank to try and hold on to this one. Transcendence by Baby, not even really threatened by it. Counter-trance as well, just try and hold this one off, 0.88%. That's going to be the EMP, it connects, it's good. Onto 3 of the targets, just backing off around the corner, but the Justice are losing too many players. They're hacking to the back. Mag can't really do too much right now. He's just trying to put pressure onto them as they're applying it themselves. Several falls as he overstepped himself, but they can eventually, hopefully, get that kill onto Bebe. Bebe gets 2.
Yeah, that might end up being a difference maker. Again, another pulse bomb eaten by Michelle. It's just too readable when Decay goes in on his own like that. There's only one reason he would be doing it, and it's to get a pulse bomb kill. Now with Mag falling and Sado and Aspire late off the spawn, this opens an opportunity for the Justice.
Yes, Michelle's just going to try and basically stop this cart from being pushed forward. That's the rally from Chuba. Gives him a ton of health to work with. Engage comes through. Sado just getting turned into mincemeat. Eviscerated. South Destruct over the top. Can anybody actually touch this one? They've got to try and collide with it. Eventually the shield bash is used there by Unsun J, but they have to just walk off of it. That's going to be Justice just essentially sailing it in.
Yeah, no major resistance, but at the same time, big credit to Bebe. He found 2 kills towards the tail end of a team fight that was completely lost. And that does turn the tide of this. Assassin also swapped over to Sombra, and he's been able to overtake Hisu when it comes to that EMP charge. Getting up to 85% himself. And this is normally the area where Assassin struggles a little bit to be able to get value out of these EMPs, or at least has done recently. But honestly, just playing in the front line and applying hack pressure to Sado and Aspire might be enough.
EMP, that's onto Lastro, but the rally is out! And the pulse bomb's 8 again, Michelle! Unbelievable form. Body blocking the damage coming their way as well to try and protect up Lastro. Still with the Transcendence in hand. This has been just an absolute sublime performance from the off-tank.
It certainly has. They've managed to save ultimates. It was a enforced savings account that they had to deposit in, but Decay managed to find a pick on Lastro. Yeah, he had a Discord orb on his head, and that means no trance now available.
Spire trying to take a risk there. Blink around the corner, not really connecting anything with that pulse bomb, and Anson J falls. The Justice are really just being handed this one, getting pick after pick. It's just a slow siege and inevitability. They're pushing it in now. Almost at the finish line. Someone's going to touch this. EMP online for Hisu. It has to be huge. Transcendence and the South Destruct to push them all away from this. Hisu's been spotted. And that EMP comes through, and that is good. It connects onto so many targets. Cacophony of kills going their way right now. Need to try and keep them alive, but Decay eventually gets that kill, and no one's really dealing with him. Finally, he goes down as Hisu was just back in the safety of their spawn. So they are going to be able to get that hold.
And Michelle, again, doing their best there. But Lastro hits the spawn queue. Minute and 40 seconds. By the time they get into this fight, it's going to be under 1:30 with Fury going back, changing his heroes to be able to get back into the Diva mech. And the Washington Justice, they can try and play aggressive here with the trance. They know that there's no EMP on the other side, so Bebe doesn't have to hold on to it. It's not normally their style to go aggro like that, though, so they might be just waiting for Assassin's EMP to come online. It better be better than the previous one.
Yeah, Decay's being marked. They know he has the pulse bomb. You can see Michelle just trying to keep one eye on him. Ensure he doesn't get away with a bit of murder going on. He is finding his way around them into the tunnels. They're trying to set something up. Sado, a lot of damage onto him. Just trying to stay alive in the middle of it. Michelle just being split apart right now. Just has to keep an eye on the support line, but it gives Justice a bit of space to work with. Decay still pulse bomb.
Hacked out of the EMP!
And wait! Hacked out of the EMP! That's Assassin not going to be using that one. Power drive goes up into the air. Decay still holding on to it. Now the rally comes through, but Michelle! Again, the post bomb 8! Michelle, you're kidding me. These plays have been astronomical. The mines scattered now across onto the point. It's a last-ditch effort as we're down into the 35-second mark. The time just being ticked away and Fury getting demeched. I mean, this push is just not doable.
That is absurd! Michelle has just broken the record for most pulse bombs eaten in a single map, and you can see it right before your very eyes, the impact it's having. That is just absurd. That's not just most pulse bombs, that's most ultimates as well, I've just been told too. That is crazy! Michelle is eating them up like a 5-star Michelin restaurant.
This is absurd. One player just trying to shut down Decay. They're going to get that staggered out kill. Hisu has ended up falling though, overstepping themselves. An opportunity now for the Washington Justice to come back into this one. Assassin is low. Pulse bomb going to be connecting onto the shield, and it's going to be taking that out, but only for a moment. Lastro with the ultimate, he's going to be keeping the Transcendence healing going, as well as Aspire has just absolutely obliterated the support line. Just holding close and away. Decay has the pulse bomb, but it's going to take a massive effort from him. Hacked up, not able to use it. The Toronto Defiant are the ones who are claiming victory.
That is incredible. What a map from Michelle. You heard it in the segment at the beginning of this match where both teams are slinging insults at each other. The Toronto Defiant said, the Justice only have one game plan. Decay. If you shut him down, they have nothing else. Well, that's exactly what the Toronto Defiant's off-tank did here and now on Havana. shut down the impact that Decay was having, protect the backline, and Justice have nothing else.
What a ridiculous carry performance from the off-tank. Michelle can be quite proud of the performance thus far, but the series isn't over yet. One more map is going to be closing it out for the Toronto Defiant. The Justice going to be doing everything in their power to make sure that does not happen, and that is not the case. We're going to see soon enough after this break just how this series is going to be going, potentially concluding as well, so don't go anywhere. Over 2 million picks have been made so far this season, and a new tournament means a new bracket is unlocked. Can you get a perfect bracket for the Countdown Cup? Go to pick'em.overwatchleague.com to submit your picks for this week's matches. And yeah, getting towards the tail end of it, but never too late as well. Just plug them in, plug in the numbers, and yeah, maybe you can win that Hangzhou statue and $500 as well for getting first place.
Sorry, man. I am losing it. This series has just obliterated my brain and my soul. It is as fun as I was expecting though, Brent. It is just madness on all sides. Nice is coming back in for Aspire here, as we've got Closer as well coming back in instead of Tuber over on the Washington Justice. But this, I want this series to continue. I want this series to go all the way to 5, because what I'm witnessing is just magical. We saw phenomenal plays from Michelle, and also terrible plays coming out from some players on the Justice. I want to point a finger towards Assassin as well. The EMPs have been tragic, but here's the thing. It's not terrible performance on an individual basis from Decay and Assassin, I believe. It's just that they're way too readable in terms of what they're doing. Remember, Assassin got hacked out of his EMP towards the end of Havana. That's a big game changer. We're talking so much about Michelle eating all these pulse bombs. Some of them might not have even hit. The EMP was guaranteed to get huge value and be the win condition that the Justice needed, and Hisu hacked him out of it. Now, there's a clear and obvious reason to me why the Justice are getting read so hard. All of their pulse bombs are getting eaten. Their EMPs are getting no value. It's because they don't apply pressure. They're so slow that whenever they move forwards, it is just obvious what they're going to do. And when you play at such a slow tempo like that, it makes every move telegraphed. Every time you see Assassin not in stealth, you know he's going for the play. Every time you see Decay on his own in your backline, you know he's going to be pulse bombing. If you don't have constant active pressure, then you're not throwing fakes at your opponents, and they just know exactly what's happening. And now the Justice are playing something pretty different. Here they see the Orisa and the Pharah. We saw a smidgen of this earlier on.
Yeah, it's quite a defensive composition. It relies as well on Assassin hitting some of these rockets, which we know Assassin can do. The Defiant are just going to try and get in past this choke point, I think, and set up positioning. Already you can see Nice has actually worked his way across onto one particular area. They just need to get through the choke point. Quite difficult. Those rockets are powerful, but they have got in without too many casualties. Still, the damage is being done right there, but still Bebe goes down! Is that a volley from afar? How does Lastro get that?
Yeah, that's wild. Lastro on the rotation, coming in with the rest of his team. Now he's just sat there like an artillery cannon in the back.
Yeah, just pumping in the shots. Just set his team up for success, straight up. Assassin as well, just being pressured, the Discord Orb applied. Can't really recontest this one. That's a quick capture for the Toronto Defiant.
I think people forget how good Lastro was last season. He had a real breakout year coming in and just showcasing elite level flex support gameplay for the LA Valiant. And this season people were wondering, okay, who are Toronto going to run? Do they go for Lastro? Do they go for Aztec? Lastro's been in pretty much all the time. He's a great flex support.
They have the damage. Just going to try and stop them here. Nice sleep dart. Sado's going to be locked up in position for a bit of time there. And look at that boop as well. Everyone down to the low ground. They have to take the fight onto the point whether they like to or not. Discord Orb. That's on Assassin. Eventually going to be fading away. They want to try and mark him because they know that he has that barrage ready and waiting straight down the floor. Oh, but he's shooting himself in the face of it. Michelle is going to catch onto them, and already the kills have gone their way. Self-destruct, you got to avoid that one. Decay is going to try and clutch it up with the pulse bomb, and that is Lastro taken out. But they have the damage, and the kills going their way anyway. No one's really dealing with Nice. Still alive. It's going to be the first tick going their way. Decay being pushed out of position, now going to be taking the high ground behind them. The mines scattered across the point, buys their time. A little bit of time there for the team, but the Decay with the beat down and the chase down, Ansun J taken out means I don't think the Defiant have any real support now, capable of trying to win this fight out. They are staggering and stalling this one out. One of the EMP is going to be committed into this one to try and turn the fight. That is a ballsy attempt. But is there going to be enough damage for it? Doesn't look like it. They don't have the players.
No, they don't. I mean, you can see what they're going for. If Hisu was in position 3-4 seconds earlier, that was a winnable fight. But after Nice has been harassed and the Justice have taken more and more space defensively on the objective, the EMP just has no possibility for follow-up. Hisu and Nice both died within a second of the EMP being used. And now, okay, you've got a great time bank, 4 minutes still on the clock, but you're going to have to build up to another EMP here. And Assassin's already started that process defensively.
Oh, Mag on the Winston, that pulse bomb is going to stick. Taken out, unable to really build up too much there. Assassin falls as well with 2 picks. You essentially just opened up the map for them. There's no way they're going to be turned away from this. Decay with the Pulse Bomb, we've seen him do huge things. The Nano Boost as well. This is everything being invested. Pulse Bomb into the side, that's a Transcendence comes through. He's taken out by Sado. Not going to be getting anything with it. Transcendence fading away. Lastro just using it to supplement his team. Still pumping in the damage of the Discord Orbs. It's looking inevitable at this point, Josh.
Yeah, and there it goes. The Toronto Defiant 321. I can't explain to you what the Justice are doing on defense. They look mentally shaken. Assassin beefing the barrage where he didn't drop down far enough. That play towards the end, great idea from Bebe to be able to rotate around. And okay, if you wait for Mag to be able to come up, that Nano could get a lot of value. Nanoing a solo Tracer into the backline when they're planning to get a Pulse anyway, just smacks of pure desperation to me. Okay, the Justice had their backs against the wall, but this is so poor compared to the quality that we've seen on occasion from the Justice so far this season, where they've been able to win series against great teams, take other teams to 5. They've done it against Dallas multiple times, done it against the Shock, the June Joust. They came back with a big response. My point being that the Justice have the quality in terms of players. They've got the quality of flashes throughout the season. And then you see them play maps like this, and series like this, and tournaments like this in the Countdown Cup, and it's like they subbed in different players.
Yeah, here's that final team fight as well. What a stick from Nice. Holy.
It's great work.
Set everything up for them, yeah.
It's great stuff, honestly. The Toronto Defiant have subverted my expectations in terms of their offensive power. I'll definitely say that. Toronto have come out with a great game plan and good coordination so that they're not just getting snarled up by the Justice defense. They had a good attacking half on Havana. This half has been excellent on Hanamura, 321 in the time bank. Nothing to sniff at whatsoever.
The Justice moving over to the Reinhardt composition. The teleports are important. Just to get them around the map, honestly, without taking too much damage. It's a pretty inventive switch up here. You can see them just going to be eating up a lot of the damage going their way. Already got a tick or two, and it takes away a bit of the power from Toronto Defiant. It means they have to really make a play here. They're being forced to try and do something. Immortality Field is down, immediately taken out, but already Toronto Defiant, they just don't really know how to engage into this one. Still, Nice gets closer, but in the backline, no one's dealing with Decay, and he's just shredding in the damage. Half HP, Hisu's going to be finished up as well. And it's going to be maybe a quick capture.
Yeah, okay, they are going to be able to take it. That's so weird, though, man. Towards the end of that as well, it looked like they were potentially throwing it. Nice had already got 2 kills. Decay's just forged ahead of all the rest of his team. Taken down by the Brick Tracer. Weird scenes. Toronto Defiant gave them 2 ticks before they tried to contest as well. But all right. 60% of the way towards an EMP. Maybe they'll have some tools to be able to work with. But the Justice have a decent chance here of just capturing. If Bebe gets up to his amp matrix, they could teleport them all up onto the high ground and have a really nasty angle for Bebe to be able to work from.
Sim Shield as well to block them away. Honestly, we see the TP come through. Onto the other side, Pile Driver, that's good. Connects Decay, putting in the damage, but already look at him falling so low there. Mortality Field not really being dealt with whatsoever, and they have split up the Toronto Defiant. They're all over the place. Anson J disjointed from the rest of their team there. Transcendence to try and heal them up, keep them going, keeping them into this fight closer, matching with the rally. One at a time, they are going to be falling here. Self-destruct, how does that get Mag? Hacked up.
He's hacked.
Off onto
by
the side.
EMP. Yeah, Hisu EMP to be able to get that kill off the pulse, off the self-destruct. Nice idea, only catches Mag. I think they're a little unfortunate to not get more than one.
Well, they haven't got a tick just yet. Now the Power Drive re-engage comes through, and a Doomfist play as well from Hisu. He's locked them all up into the air. It's going to be a good punch, and that Pulse Bomb, nobody could really move away from it. With Decay gone, your damage is really missing from this one. Going to be awarded a tick at the end of the day, but all over the place, really. Mag close to building up this Earth Shatter. They still want to take the fight, but with Bebe being pressured and taken out, it's not looking too ideal for them. The Justice still trying to work with whatever they can here. Earth Shatter, predictive. I mean, it's not going to be coming up with any goods.
Nice try though. I think he's predicting Nice to be blinking behind him. You do need a bit of a wild play there to be able to get you back in the fight. So I can't hate it, but we've had so many moments like that that would make for an amazing comedy compilation in this series. And the Justice are going over to play Winston here. I don't hate this. Mag's Winston has looked good so far. You can empower him with the Nano. You can start an ult cycle going. Rally, Nano feeds Primal. You've got EMPs that are coming up here as well. With 3.5 minutes, there's a decent chance that the Justice are just going to get a good enough ult bank to be able to close this out. But it's not going to be anywhere close to the time bank that the Defiant set.
I can't help but feel concerned as well, though. When the Justice are running the sim comp with the Reinhardt, they really do... They're forcing themselves into fights with the teleporter. With this, they do struggle from time to time to really find the initiation. It's a big rotation. The whole team, in fact, rotating. Decay in the back line as well. Took care of Nice. It's free reign. The spawners coming through, but as they take the team fight up close, they're not really getting any value out of it. Taking too much damage. Decay building up this pulse bomb. They know he has it. Might try and turn it as well, but just wants to try and get out and survive.
That's quite an interesting positional strategy there, to try and flip the map and put Bebe in closer at the attacker's spawn doors. I don't think it's normally the best case scenario. Fury getting bullied here as well. But you can see that they're trying to escort them into a position where the Toronto Defiant will find it hard to be able to pressure them. But they don't really have the ults up, so they just kind of get locked in a corner and killed by Nice and Sado. Hisu closer to EMP compared to Assassin. That might define the next fight. But they do have... So here's where their ult cycle starts to get bored a bit. So Nano onto Mag with the Primal potentially. They might get something going.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. Most of the progress being gained from one side of things. Bebe goes down. No Nano boost for you. See you later. That's a great pulse one from Nice. That has completely disrupted the flow of play. The Justice just... they can't play into this now. Their game plan was... taken out, yeah. And we've seen that quite a lot in our top-level games in the Countdown Cup. Sombra's trying to target the Ana player with a hack or an EMP to make the Winston very susceptible. Kill onto Ansoon J here might be a bit of a window for them. I think they're too slow to get in, though. They're definitely trying to capitalize off of it. That's a big Bionade onto Michelle. It does give them an opening. They can start to take some space. Nano boost onto Mag is going to have the Primal. This is the window. This is what they need right now, and it does force out the Transcendence. Assassin with the EMP. Too much for it, though. Now you can see Mag just trying to get back into position. And for the rest of the team, the EMP from the opposing side. Assassin is going to let it rip. It only connects onto Michelle, I think. But still, they are winning this team fight out regardless of that one. The rally armor keeping them all up. Big Bionade into the back line. It is a slow attempt right now from the Washington Justice. Trickling down to a minute. They need to close this out cleanly. Hisu's moved over to the Widowmaker to try and clutch it up. It's already going to be the headshot there. The pulse bomb right down onto the ground, avoiding it for the most part, but still alive. No one really dealing with this bubble. Mag will be jumping back to the rest of his team here. Decay with the pulse bomb as well. Might try and get it onto Sado as well, just to try and push them away. Off onto the side. Doesn't get anything with it, really. Shell D-Mech, though, but still, no one's really capping this one up.
Oh, Hisu's going to go for the long rotation, try and get up to the high ground here.
So risky. Someone needs to touch this, no? Already the points, yeah, Mag has sniffed it out, and he's already just pushing all the way around, taking a lot of damage, almost has the Primal. Hisu, what a headshot! That is nasty, and now he's in the optimal position. They just need to keep contesting this point up, and he can just rain down the fire. The pressure's coming from him, though. They realize that he is a threat. The shot's coming through. Now with the infra sight, the guy is basically untouchable.
And he's corralled the supports into the corner, too. It's not just...
They can't do anything to mines. They can't touch!
Wow. That is absurd. They didn't even touch. That's ridiculous.
I mean, what a way to end the series, Josh. I'm telling you. That is the Toronto Defiant taking it 3-0.
Almost the perfect way to end the series, you might say. That extends their map loss streak to 9. The Justice now have not won a map in the last 9. That's 3 3-0s in a row for the Countdown Cup. Now, for a team with this much talent, that's not acceptable. And they're slipping down the rankings. It really is. And, I mean, you look at their record right now. The Toronto Defiant have now become 8-6, with the Washington Justice slipping to 8-7. The Toronto Defiant have just overtaken the Washington Justice. Who had that on your bingo card, on your power rankings at the beginning? the season.
A real nice opportunity, honestly, for them to just make a bit of a run for it at the tail end here, the Countdown Cup. Every single match is going to be mattering for them, and the Justice are now in a bit of a weird and wacky position, I think, in terms of their overall standings. Still, you know, it's not looking overly dangerous, but off the back of that, losing 3 maps in a row, not ideal. Let's take a look at the player of the match. There's one name that's going to be standing out in everybody's minds, honestly. We've been singing his praises all day long. It's Michelle. I mean, on the Diva, it's rare that you see a performance just so one-sided in terms of being able to accurately track the opposition. The carry performance at Decay was completely shut down. I think it was the most ultimates that we've seen in a series being 8.
It was the most ultimates in a map we've seen being eaten as well. So Michelle's Havana performance was elite. But it wasn't just Michelle on Havana. The team had some decent ideas of how to get value out of Michelle's self-destructs too. You saw one in this package at the beginning. You know, this highlight reel showed you one at the beginning of Lijiang. There was also one at the end when we saw them on Hanamura, where Hisu EMP'd to blow Mag up. So this team clearly came in with some ideas of how to play, how to shut down Decay, and set up their own win conditions. A lot of them revolved around Michelle. A true, certainly excellent performance from him today.
And correction as well, in terms of the most ultimates 8 in a map, Michelle is going to be holding that record after today, but in a series, 2U still holds that record. Obviously, this series didn't last very long. We may have seen that upset if it went to 5 at the end of the day. I mean, what a way for this series to go, honestly. I was anticipating it to go really to the distance here, but I think as well, aside from us really having a major takeaway of the Washington Justice obviously having a lot of issues, this is the Toronto Defiant coming out with, you know, a bit of oomph, honestly, on the attacking side of things. It's a team that's showcased as well. They're not really content of sitting right at the bottom of the standings with a lot of these other teams. They're trying to make a bit of a break for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And at the same time, you can't call the Washington Justice even the gatekeepers anymore. Yeah. They're just letting people run through the gates. It's like
straight away. Peter's, they're not checking tickets.
St. Peter's had a drink and he's just letting anyone in who speaks nicely to him at this point. It's madness occurring. He's just flipping a coin.
All right, well, we've got an interview with Michelle coming up as well after this one, and of course the Wash Point post show, so you don't want to miss any of that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you just a few minutes for even more Overwatch League breakdown. See you then.
welcome to the Watchpoint Post Show. We are joined now by Michelle from the Toronto Defiant and, of course, assistant coach Ho-Ji Lee, who's helping out with the translation. Thank you guys so much for taking the time, and most of all, congratulations on the big W.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, let's dive right into the questions here. The Justice, they have been looking a little shaky as of late, but I feel like even on their lowest, like that's just a very stacked and talented team, so you can't ever really underestimate them. I want to know what your game plan was. What was the focus heading into that match against Washington Justice?
오늘 저스티스 잠깐만요. 오늘 우리 이제 포커스와 게임 플랜에 대해서 물어보시는데 그거에 대해서 한번 얘기해 볼래?
저희가 일단 오늘 워싱턴 경기할 때 조합을 되게 다양하게 준비했어요. 상대에 맞춰서 플랜이나 조합 되게 다양하게 준비했고, 그리고 저희가 또 볼디 솜트는 안 진다고 자신 있어가지고 맞조합하면 충분히 이길 수 있다 생각해서 볼디 솜트로 가져갔어요. 상대 조합 봤을 때.
So Michelle says we prepared a specific comp, expecting what Justice was gonna run for each map, and we had the mindset that if we played Ball Somber Tracer comp mirror, that we would never lose. So we tried to kind of force that out.
So yeah, that definitely worked out for you guys. Did you have to make any adjustments just based on what the Washington Justice were doing during the match, or was everything just scripted and you went as planned?
저스티스랑 게임하는 도중에 변경한 부분이 있는지, 혹은 이제 우리가 플랜을 기존에 짜서 들어간 거 그대로 간 건지 물어보셨거든.
일단 경기할 때 어느 정도 저희가 예상한 조합이 나와가지고 그냥 원래 하던 대로 해서 이긴 것 같아요. 딱히 특별하게 준비한 게 없더라고요.
All the anticipations that we had were on point, so nothing special that we had to change along the match.
Well, perfect. Speaks for the coaching staff too, Ho-Ji Lee. That's definitely good preparation coming into this game, and it showed on the server. You guys were crushing it. Now, of course, you are currently 2-0 so far in the Countdown Cup. Now, Paris and Shock are going to be your next opponents. Have you been able to get a good read on those two teams as well, just based on watching their first few games?
I'll let him do the talk. So, Michelle, 일단 이제 앞으로 남은 이제 경기가 파리랑 쇼크인데 그 경기에 대해서도 우리가 어떤 준비를 했는지, 그거에 대한 준비가 돼 있는지.
근데 아직 다음 주까지 경기가 일주일 있어가지고 어느 정도 준비할 시간이 있긴 한데, 그 팀들이 어떤 조합을 쓸지는 대충 예상이 돼가지고 맞춤 그 상대 조합에 맞춰서 어떤 플레이를 할지 대충 정할 것 같아요, 이번 주에.
So we're gonna have to see, but we have some good anticipation on what they're gonna run. If I just speak for Michelle, I mean, Shock's gonna run no, never mind. I'll keep it there, actually.
Almost got it out of you. All right, we got this close to get some insight, but that's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, we have some expectations. They're not going to be a huge surprise, I don't think. So we're going to have to check what's going to happen in our scrims, and also what's going to happen in the matches that are going to follow. But yeah, we have some ideas already, and we'll try to plan things out. So hopefully we can replicate the result again.
Yeah, I hope to see more dominance coming out from the Toronto Defiant. Thank you both so much for joining me here for the post-game interview, and best of luck in your next matches.
Thank you very much. 오늘 수고 많았고,
네.
다음 경기도 잘해보자.
네, thank you.
Thank you.
감사합니다. Bye-bye.
감사합니다.
Right,
Bye-bye.
and we are now heading back to our desk. Evil, Zoe, and the boys.
The boys.
The boys. Evil, that sounds like a garage band waiting to happen.
Evil Zoe and the boys. We should start a band. I think we could start a band. We would kill it.
Yeah, can you play an instrument?
Nope,
You look like a
can't sing either.
triangle guy.
Oh yeah,
Triangle
I can hit a
it is.
triangle really hard.
I think people underestimate how difficult that instrument actually is. Because honestly,
Yeah,
like you only get like that one last ding, right? Usually what's happening. And if you whiff that one, like everyone will see it.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah,
like
that's
Assassin's
or
DMPs
hero
today.
driver. Yeah,
You know, it's just,
exactly.
It's
Like,
an
it's very
important
obvious if you miss those ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's discuss the game. We almost got him to spill the beans for us. We're this close. However, we just have to wait and see, I guess. We did start this match with some trash talk between Defiant and Justice. You know, what they delivered clean bars during the trash talk, but the gameplay itself from both sides was more on the shaky side. That was a bit scrappy here and there, lots of whoopsies, but also some positive things, of course, to mention, which one of them being Michelle setting a record for most ults negated on a single map. That's actually kind of insane.
That's impressive.
Like, how does he do it?
She's
I want to be a diva like that when I grow up.
He's so smart.
Just
No,
so smart.
I mean, actually, I think that what Sideshow said on the match as well, it really hit home as well. That like because Mag plays a more passive wrecking ball, there is less pressure on the Toronto Defiant backline, and so Michelle can like fully focus almost on securing these pulse zones and making sure that they don't hit the backline of the Toronto Defiant. So part of it is actually the Washington Justice not being able to execute properly, but Michelle being so cognizant and so aware every time Decay went in for those pulse bombs. That's so smart. Like, I love that. I told Costa the other day, actually, I was like, because I played main tank, I approach the game one way and I think about the game one way, and he probably does the same because he played main support. I don't know how dealers operate. Like, I don't know how they think about the game. They're just on the next level. Like, they're in the Matrix. They're on like another planar existence. I don't understand how divas can juggle peeling through your backline, anticipating pulse bombs and eating them, going aggressive at the same time with the dives. Like, diva players are just a different breed of Overwatch player. They're geniuses. I love them. Michelle proving a fantastic point right here in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Toronto Defiant looking very good. It's not. I still haven't seen something that makes me think Toronto is going to be, you know, one of the better teams in the West and that they can qualify for Hawaii. They got the wins that they needed to, but I think Bren and Josh were deservedly very angry at the Washington Justice. This is such a good roster that just is not being able to string it together. I think the rookies in Mag and Assassin are heavily struggling both on their individual roles. Mag's really not getting that aggression and giving his team that space. Like Decay feels like he was lighting up the kill feed, but we didn't see much from anyone else. And then Assassin, I don't know how many EMPs he whiffed in this series. And it's been a common theme throughout the Countdown Cup. I think it might be above 5 in this series, and that's just 5 too many at this point. And they need to take a serious look. They're 0-3 right now. They are 0-9 in maps on the Countdown Cup right now. They need to look at themselves in a magnifying glass really close, because they are making it into the play-ins, I'm pretty sure. They're pretty much set in for those play-ins. If they don't pull it out, they're going to just struggle through the play-ins and just fall out of the entire season altogether. So maybe at the last second, they'll be good and they will live up to their potential.
Well, we've been there before.
Maybe.
I've read that before.
So can I ask this question? Like, genuinely, is this the worst dumpster fire we've seen since Dallas Fuel in 2018? I can't come up with another team that has like underperformed at this level with the roster they have, because Dallas Fuel coming into 2018, they were like the best Western team in the world. Like, they had been a powerhouse on Envious, of course, and going into the inaugural season of the Overwatch League, everyone expected them to do great. It went horribly wrong. Costa was on that roster. It was fun to watch Costa, I'm sorry. But Washington Justice here, I mean, I don't think we've seen a team underperform like this since then. You could say the 0-7 Valiant, but I mean, that was one meta, that was GOATs, right? So I don't really think that applies here. This is unbelievable.
Let me speak to that, because I actually know what it feels like to be in the Washington Justice's spot, right? I was on, as you said, the Dallas Fuel. We were expected to be the best team in the world. You know, they had the envious roster. I was playing around phenomenal players, but when you have that expectation and you just continually fail to meet it, it adds more pressure, it compounds. All of a sudden, players start getting in their heads, players start sort of spiraling downhill. And, you know, Assassin's a great example. He is a phenomenal player, but he has the yips. He is just unable to execute anything at a good level.
No.
His Sombra EMPs weren't good. We saw that barrage on Hanamura that just didn't really do anything. He did it too high. That's such a simple mistake that you don't see happen at the Overwatch League level. So if they can get out of their heads, if they can play to the players that we know they are, it can be good. But as a player who's been in that situation, I completely understand what they are going through right now.
I'll wrap with
He has the what now? Can you...
The yips. The yips essentially means like when like a sports player, they just they like forget how to do their sport essentially.
Yeah.
So it's actually happened in multiple.
Or is that...
Yeah, it happened in all kinds of sports. It's mostly like psychological, where like you're a soccer player and you start doubting your abilities so much that like you forget how to like curve that free kick, or like.
I mean, that happens not just in
penalty,
sports.
so.
That happens on my everyday life. Honestly, you should see me watching
True,
this sometimes.
true. but before we move on, tomorrow the Washington Justice play the Vancouver Titans.
Oh no.
Who you got? Who you got? The Vancouver Titans, who are 1-12, 1-13,
I can't believe we're having this conversation.
Washington Justice.
I honestly, I hate
know.
doing Preds. Countdown Cup Preds have been like actually my worst nightmare. And
True.
I've had some pretty horrendous nightmares. I shared one with you this morning. So you know how I feel.
True.
That was really bad, actually.
I might just predict Vancouver Titans tomorrow. I'm not even kidding.
I might have to do that too, because
It
I
worked
did
for
say
me
that
today.
this was the last chance for the Washington Justice to convince me, and that's not what they did. Now, moving on though, off to greater pastures. A second match was the Southeast Smackdown between Florida and Atlanta, and the Mayhem, they were so close to snapping their losing streak, which has now extended to 8 matches. However, in the end, the bird was the word, and Atlanta flew away with it.
Stop.
Ah, I
So
can't. I honestly can't. Well,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Is that the setup? What's that?
I just ended on a high note. I don't know what you want from me.
Okay. Well, yeah, the Atlanta Reign, I think they're continuing their tear as considered to being one of the best teams in the West. It wasn't flawless, to say the least, but I think they are showing they are still strong in this meta. They're sticking to their slower style of playing the game. And, you know, Kai's popping off. Pelicans, just absolutely incredible, having a phenomenal rookie season. One of the front runners for Rookie of the Year. But the Florida Mayhem were really the story of this match. They stepped up in a way that we haven't seen them do in the last 2 tournaments. And they almost broke their 0-7 streak losing, but I don't see them continuing this loss streak if they play like they did today. They do have a hard schedule that we've looked into recently, but OG looks like he's back in form. He hit a couple of great shatters. He looks confident on this wrecking ball. Yaki's just doing Yaki things. He's just an absolute superstar for this roster. So I'm back into believing in the Florida Mayhem, at least for now, until maybe they disappoint me once again. But, you know, I feel good about this, Johnny. Do you agree with me? Do you think Florida can hit their former glory?
The thing is, and we'll take a look at the standings and the schedule later, but I'm pretty sure that Florida Mayhem have to secure league points now. Because Toronto Defiant, they just win, right? And they're essentially competing with Toronto Defiant. Maybe Boston Uprising as well. But let's look at the standings. Sorry, I should know this. But Florida Mayhem, they essentially have to beat Boston Uprising, Houston Outlaws, and the LA Gladiators, and maybe get 1 or 2 league points if they want to make it to the play-ins at this point. And I mean, with the way Toronto Defiant is playing as well, like, you know, we were hard on the Washington Justice, but the Toronto Defiant genuinely played well as well. So if Florida Mayhem keep up these performances, yes, they can get wins, but if they want to advance to the play-ins and have a chance at the playoffs, they're gonna have to, like, step it up even more and secure some of these dubs in a win streak, essentially, here in the Countdown Cup. So they got an uphill battle ahead of themselves.
Honestly, I feel like when we set this one up, I said they have to win all of them, so now I already feel doom and gloom for them, but I might have been wrong. I'm also horrible at math. It's one of the things I'm horrible at. There's a lot of things, actually. It's a long list. But yeah, I don't know. We will be taking a look at the schedule. Some smarter people than us put it all together, and they will fill us in the intricacies that are our point and league system. Now, we did start the day, however, with what we thought is going to be a David versus Goliath kind of match. But that one went the distance, right? It was Dallas versus London, and London actually held their own. Yeah, sure, Dallas didn't look too hot. However, I don't want to take anything away from London Spitfire. Like, there were numerous occasions where they really impressed. Individuals had a great game. Shax really tried his hardest once again to like pop off. Moltvik had a good game here and there as well. And overall, they showed some really, really competent defense play as well.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think you're starting to see the results of what we've heard in the news of both the Shanghai Dragons and the Dallas Fuel. Their head coaches, Moon and Rush, have come out and said that they are guaranteed and secured for the playoffs. They have locked in their #1 seedings pretty much. So they're taking the foot off the gas a little bit. It's a very strenuous season. It's been a long season. So what they're trying to do is give their players a little bit more rest and not have as much practice time. And you're starting to see that in Dallas Fuel's play. They just don't look as polished and clean as we know them for. Their coordination is a little off, their ultimate timing. Obviously, they're still great players, and that's how they're getting these wins, but I am a little worried for Dallas, at least in this tournament, whether or not they're going to be able to go the distance. But for London Spitfire, this is sort of the team that we were expecting to see in the Countdown Cup. It is a good meta for them. They have great players. They almost pulled it off, but I think their anti-clutch came in a little bit for their team. Just when it mattered, they fell a little short.
Yeah, I think so many of the stories in these matches this season has been that generally the better team, they just end up clutching out some of these matches. Even though we see some of these underdogs like the London Spitfire get close, get a couple of maps and have a chance at winning the game. Dallas Fuel, they were the better team. They came in clutch. They've been in these scenarios so many times. And going into tomorrow's match, they actually played San Francisco Shock, which is bound to be a ridiculously competitive match between two top teams in the Western region. But once again, Dallas Fuel, yes, they looked a bit shaky today against the London Spitfire. They're still an elite team. They're one of the best teams we have in the league. So I expect them to actually come into tomorrow's match a bit more focused, even though they practice less, come in with more focus and more determination to actually win that match. And I think we'll see a better Dallas Fuel tomorrow. So even though they've looked a bit shaky so far in the Countdown Cup, they're actually playing the Atlanta Reign. Sorry, it's still going to be an incredibly close matchup. But as I said, it still applies though. It's the Atlanta Reign, right? Which is another top team in the region. And I think the Dallas Fuel, they're going to go into that matchup with another mindset compared to this matchup. So I'm still expecting a fantastic match tomorrow between two top teams in the Western region.
I mean, they might have also just taken it a little too lightly, to go up against the London Spitfire. And I mean, you can't blame them. London is still winless, and I wouldn't go in with the expectation that it will be a close one, because I simply would just expect that every individual, even if there was not as much practice, they should still outdo the opposition on the respective role, right? Like, I think the skill gap should still be big enough for them to just come in with that expectation, even though it sounds arrogant. It is just a matter of fact that mechanically the Dallas Fuel are just a little bit ahead of the players from the London Spitfire. And I don't mean to add insult to injury, that is just factual as is. But again, great performances from the London Spitfire. I'm excited to see more of them and the entire team. Now, I do want to take a look at the updated Western season standings, as we were trying to figure it out ourselves, but that is an absolutely lost cause. So, right, London are already eliminated, so they're right now just fighting for the pride. What else? I mean, Mayhem really need those points. They are currently on the edge of being eliminated, and their schedule is looking rough.
Yeah, I mean, all of these teams look really good in this region as well. So the Boston Uprising, the Paris Eternal, they are at 7 points right now. They could easily get a couple of wins here with the remaining matches to go this season. And that means for the Mayhem, it's going to have an much more tougher time actually securing 9th place there. They're sitting at 5 league points right now. So a very competitive region. I would not be surprised to see some of this shuffle around before we end the regular season next week.
Yeah, and keep in mind also a lot of teams are actually already playing their last matches this very week. So tomorrow some teams such as Atlanta Reign will be having been done with it, which is crazy. How did this season go by?
Next week is the last week of regular season. Next week.
Wow. That's crazy.
That is actually so crazy. It makes me very sad. So let's just move on to something which makes me happier, such as our prediction.
Really?
Back.
Yes.
Yeah.
This makes us all very happy, right?
No,
there it is.
No,
I swear.
Why did I go for Washington?
I've got the yips when it comes to predictions, man. Like, this is tragic.
It's not as bad though. You finally got 2 right. Weren't you like on a massive streak of no preds?
True, but look at this.
Yes. Here's the thing, Johnny. You're using your head too much. You are the most passionate non-believer of the Washington Justice, yet you keep predicting them, Johnny. Think with your heart, not your head.
Okay, so I'm
hardcore
actually
beat
going to
Toronto.
change up my strategy with predictions. And I started today, and that's why I predicted Washington Justice. I'm actually just going to predict the better team from now on. So I figured Washington Justice, they are the better team than Toronto Defiant. But there was an upset.
Wait, so you didn't do that in the past? You didn't predict a better team? Like what?
I predicted London yesterday. They were like, I predicted
I think that one was
them
just
to
for
beat
the
their
looks,
lose
right?
streak.
Like, that's
I
what I
love
thought.
predicting the underdog, Zoe. I genuinely,
No,
there's
you
nothing
don't.
better
You
than
like
predicting
being
an
right.
underdog. No, I love being more right when you predict like an underdog, and I keep doing this all the time. So from now on, I'm just going to walk the line, predict the better team, and just not try to engage with the prediction.
Well, I don't engage with the other people under this. Well, Costa is still pulling ahead. You
I
still
wish.
have a few chances to catch him. So maybe he just fails spectacularly towards the end of the season. Everything's still up for grabs, or so I'd like to tell myself. Now, don't go anywhere because the best is yet to come. No, I mean literally, it's the best of the day
best.
coming at you right after this. back to the Watchpoint Post Show. The worst thing about today is obviously that Danny is not with us here on the desk, but luckily we've got some best of the days to cheer us up until he comes back, which is tomorrow. So honestly, we need to quit the drama about it. Like, we'll survive, okay?
Will we?
No. Will we though? Will we though? Well, I guess we'll find out. Anyway, I'm gonna start this one off with a little yay and nay all wrapped in one. It's a I almost swallowed on broadcast right there. It's a sandwich made of things you don't want to eat. That's what I want to see. Here's a classic. My job here is done. He is getting those kills absolutely popping off, playing great. Yucky just having great time. And then he's just, well, I mean, you know, he paid his dues. He got what he needed. He got what he came for. His reaction is also absolute gold.
Yeah.
He knows.
I mean, like, okay, you guys do something now. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this. Because the fuel tank is full, by the way.
Yeah.
He could hover. He just misses the platform. It's unbelievable.
Oh, we get the reaction here.
I like that it was too late. Like, he was already way down there until he realized that, oh.
Oh. Oh, no. Well, hey, it happens to all of us, okay? Not just us bad DPS players out there, okay? It happens to the best. So, you know, Yaki making us all feel that little bit better. Yeah. Thank you, Yaki. All right, let's move on to mine. Okay, we're going to talk about another DPS player who also makes another classic mistake. So I'm going to look at Shax, who on Volskaya kind of makes a mistake, a forced error from him, blinks off of the map. But it's kind of an assist from the Brig from Jexay. So Shax is just hanging out, gets whip shot, but because he's in the air, he still has the momentum of the whip shot. So when he blinks, he just keeps going off of the edge, and there's no coming back from that. So kind of good by Jexay, kind of bad by Shax. I don't know how to feel about this.
I love it.
Trajectory.
My favorite parts of these things is like the 1 second they're falling off. Like the realization moment of just like, oh, I'm out.
He turns around to look at it too. Like look at him turning like, oh no.
Bit of contemplation.
No. Yeah, it's like he saw his life flashing by at that very moment. It was tragic. Tragic. Do you have something uplifting here too, or are we just, showing people falling off the map?
It just made me realize that we're going to look at another Lono Spitfire player taking a drink as well on the Volskaya Industries, and this time it's Hardy. Now, he didn't actually see it coming because he was asleep when he took a drink. But I love this as well. Going for the slam, sleep dart hit by Fielder, and see you later.
Oh,
have a good one. And he's hacked. Slept darted. Hacked. I mean, this is typical main tank play. This is why we need to show more love to main tank players. This is what they have to deal with. Sleep darted, hacked. Have a good time.
I'd see that as a compliment. That means that so much resources were devoted to shut me down. Clearly, I must be the threat. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they killed you, so you are the threat. But now you're sleeping in the water, so it
was also just two abilities.
Forever.
So it's like.
Well, that's more than one. So Matthew, haha. Anyway, that concludes our best of the day. It was a pleasure.
It was fun.
As always.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Sharing is caring. It was fun. We had fun. Much fun was had on this desk today. Now more fun to come, however, not on this desk, but in our eastern region. So let's take a look at the Sunday schedule. Philly will take on the Seoul Dynasty. The Chengdu Hunters will go up against the NYXL, and the Shanghai Dragons will be playing against the Guangzhou Charge. Which one gets you hyped? Which one tickles you? Which one are you worried about? What are you feeling?
You go, Johnny. I'll steal yours.
Okay. Well, I figured you were going to mention Philadelphia Soul. So I was going to back you up and say, oh, no, you weren't? Okay. Philadelphia Soul. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. Philadelphia, of course, they won overnight. Seoul, they lost narrowly in map 5 to the Shanghai Dragons. I think composition-wise, this is going to be a very interesting matchup because Seoul Dynasty is one of the few teams in the eastern regions who actually like to play a lot of Orisa compositions, even though they've shown some Wrecking Ball as well. Philadelphia Fusion, they have a really good dive composition going, and EQO on the Pharah has been spectacular. So, curious to see how Seoul's slower compositions work against the faster ones locally.
for me, it's actually NYXL versus the Chengdu Hunters, not because of the matchup, but because of the implications of that match as well. The NYXL are on the edge of the cutoff for the play-in, so they're actually playing for the future of their season. So they lost last night. They really need to try and like fix things up, shore them up, because they're going to need every map win, every match win, every point if they are going to qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah. And hopefully they took some good notes of the recent matches to see what those winning conditions are for the Chengdu Hunter. It's Jinmu, you're welcome. Now, Sunday's schedule for the Western region. Boston and Mayhem will face off in our first match of the day. Afterwards, Atlanta Reign and Dallas Fuel will clash. And last but certainly not least, oh God, Vancouver and Washington Justice. What am I going to predict? I don't know. I don't know if sleeping on it makes it better. I think I just have to. Yeah, honestly, all three are actually a nightmare to predict. I'm going to maybe just ask my cat to do it for me.
I mean, last Sunday, you went 3 out of 3, and I went 0 for 3, Zoe. Like,
True.
I'm shaking, quaking in my boots right here. This can't go on. I need to catch a break, Zoe.
Do you though?
Yes.
Do you though?
Yeah,
no, because your
John, work with
overall
me here.
hot take was that you're gonna lead the predictions.
Okay, I don't even care about leading at this point. I would like to be within like 5 points of Costa at the end of the season. That's all I ask for.
I get that.
Please.
You got a lot of points.
I think that's a fair.
Oh
that's a fair ask. Well, let's see where Costa's heart takes him tomorrow, because as he said, he doesn't choose with his head. He's not overthinking it. He just goes with his gut feeling. Yeah, and sometimes that goes right, and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it wins some, sometimes you lose some. What was that, Vancouver? You're trying. Okay, well you're in his head already, Costa. I think you did your job here. Right, I'm gonna let him be boomed for a few hours, and then we're back for more, of course, tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us once again for a great day of Overwatch. More to come. Make sure to not miss out on the Eastern region matches, and if you do, of course, we're gonna summarize them and put you up to speed at what happened over at that region as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, and tomorrow Danny will be back as well, so something more to look forward to. We can zoom out. I can't drag this outro on any longer. Like I said everything.
Let's go.
Said everything.
Let's go. I need to rest up before tomorrow's matches.
Bye.
Johnny, Vancouver are gonna win.
Nerf this. Nerf this.
Let them up.